going on, guys? Today we are putting a chain and sprocket kit onto the FZ-07. As you can tell, I'm putting the big old pizza pie on her. Pretty simple process. You just take the old off, put this new one on, your chain, put your new front sprocket on, and you're good to go. These are the tools that you're going to need to do this. I'm not going to get in depth with it. I'll put a detailed list down in the description below. So let's get into it. I like to start up front. To get access to get this cover off, you're going to take your shifter linkage off, which is just this 5mm bolt here. I've already broken it loose. And you're just going to pull this off, set it off to the side. Make sure you mark it before you do, so I know exactly where to put it back when I'm done. Put your bolt back in the hole so you don't lose it. 3 bolts there will come off here. You'll take this cover off and that'll give you access to the front sprocket. This front sprocket is a 30mm, and if you're as lucky as I am to have a 1/2 inch impact, it makes this job way easier. There are ways to do this without it. We're gonna do it the easy way. All right, now that we've got that front sprocket busted loose, the nut's still on there. It's just loose, so when we get to it later on, it's not a hassle to try and get off. For this rear master, the best way I've found to get these off, if you are lucky like this and have a clip style master link, is to knock it off with a flathead and a small hammer. If you have a riveted master link, it's just as easy, and that is to just grind the head of one of these rivets off. Then once that's completely flat, you'll just tap, 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 tap in there until the head comes off, and then the chain will fall apart. Super easy. I've done that on these chains before just because I didn't feel like taking the time to find the clip. Either way is fine. Just be careful with a grinder if you do the second option. Pull this link out from behind here. Might need a little love tap from the screwdriver and the hammer. But that's it. An old school trick is to keep this chain in here so you can help pull the new one through. Since I'm going with all new front sprocket, rear sprocket, chain, everything, I'm not gonna worry about that. I'm just gonna go ahead and yank this out. And sorry if the lighting in here sucks, y'all. I only have 1 outlet and 1 light bulb in my garage, so times are a little tight when it's nighttime working on stuff in here. It's hard to get good lighting in here during the daytime, so I'm working against all odds to try and get this video made. But so you'll take this nut right here off, then you have a spring washer behind that, and then the sprocket falls off just like that. This is also a really good time to go in here with a little bit of brake clean and an old dirty toothbrush and just clean up this whole area here where you got this gunk that builds up from just road grime in general. It's a great time to go in there and get that clean. All right, now that I got the sprocket on there very loosely, we will turn our attention to this rear sprocket, which will obviously require us taking the rear wheel off. And if you can see through there at all, I have a handbrake set up on this bike now, which involves me taking this foot brake and new handbrake calipers off of the bracket, because it's impossible to get this bracket off without taking those calipers off. It's a few extra steps, but it's a stunt setup. Now to remove the sprocket from that hub, you're going to need a 14mm. Make sure you only do this going off, not on. And just like that, all 6 nuts are loose. I don't even know why I was trying with the ratchet first. That thing makes life so much easier. And before you put these back on, make sure you throw a little bit of Loctite on them. I like to throw red Loctite on them because I have the gun, and the next time I need to take them off, won't be for a while. And just like you would tighten the car's lug nuts, same deal with this. You always go in a crisscross pattern. I like to start from the top personally. Make sure you give them some beans, don't overdo it, but enough that you know it's not going nowhere. I don't know if you can tell, but this is a dirty job. I don't care how often you clean your chain, you will have a dirty chain when you go change your chain and sprockets. And like I said, I usually preach blue Loctite on everything, but this is something that you will not take off for a long enough time that I think it warrants putting the red on there, because you definitely don't want your sprocket bolts coming loose. Now all we gotta do is throw this back on, run the chain, tighten that front sprocket, and we're good to go. Looks like we're gonna have to figure something out here. Unfortunately, might have to cut that off, take it off altogether. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Alright, so I'm gonna cut here just because this is a pain in the butt to get this wheel back on solo dolo, so catch you in a second. Alright, so we got the wheel back on. All we gotta do now is tighten this nut up, get this wheel to sit as far forward as we can, because we're gonna need all that space for our new chain, so we have all the adjustment that we can in the world. As you can see, it comes with a clip style master, but I always order another one just in case they send a rivet kit, because I'm not a big fan of the rivets. I always prefer the clips, but to each his own. And it helps have your bike in neutral when you're doing this. So when people say this is a pain in the butt to do after the fact, after you've already taken the old chain off, that's what they're talking about right there, just feeding it around the guides. And it's honestly not too bad at all. Alright. Now we're getting into another section that I don't plan on doing any coaching through while I'm doing it. I may film some, my camera battery's dying some, so if you see me switch to iPhone, that's why. But this right here, as you can see, I have quite a few extra links in the chain, so I'm gonna have to take away chain links and cut this extra off. It's pretty self-explanatory once you see the video. Alright, so this is another one of those things you need to use at your discretion. I found where I need my chain to be cut. I'm happy with the tightness on it overall. But instead of using a chain breaker like they tell you to use, a lot of people will tell you just to use a grinder to cut off the excess links, and I do exactly that myself. Yeah, just like, you know, if you mess up your bike, it ain't on me, because if you're doing this, you should have some basic use of your basic tools down. And if you're not, you know, get somebody that does to like show you the ropes. So that's my little PSA for the video. This right here is chain tool kit. It's used for everything from breaking chains to pressing on new masters, and that's about all I use it for, is to press on the new master onto the chain, or the faceplate on anyway. You can do this without this kit with like some pliers or something, but it really is worth the 50 or 60 bucks to go get this. You know, if you're like me and you change sprockets and chains like twice a year, 3 times a year, it's worth it just to go ahead and fork out the money and go get this chain toolkit. Even though I don't use it to break chains with, it is really nice to have to press this faceplate on, because it is really tough sometimes, especially on these EK chains, to get this front plate on. And all you really want to do with it is get that back plate lined up with the pins. Make sure these are sitting on top of the pins on these open holes. so you're not destroying your pins. I think I'm good there. And from here, all I need is a 14 millimeter, and I can crank down on it. It will push my faceplate onto the rest of my master. And it's just like tapping a hole. You want to get it tight, back off, kind of let it reset, make sure you're still good on everything, you're not pressing any pins through. It's kind of tedious, but it's better to do this right than to get halfway done with your chain and then realize you got your new master link. And after you press it a couple times, check where you're at. I think we're good. That should have been about it. From here, just gonna grab my master link clip. There are little grooves in here that this slides into. Really, really simple. All you're gonna do is take some needle nose pliers. Side note, you always want this end here. You always want your open end going away from the rotation. So closed end to the front, always. And then, if you did it right, put your needle nose, one end on the closed end, one end on that first pin, and you're done. Make sure it's set real well everywhere, and you should be good to go now. Now back up front, all I'm gonna do, put a little red Loctite on this nut here. I'm gonna button it down, tidy up some things on the rear end, get my calipers back on, stuff like that, and this thing will be ready to roll. As always, I appreciate y'all watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment for more. And if you came from the old channel, Shady Stunts, let me know how you're liking this channel so far. We'll cut to some clips of me riding, hopefully cutting some circles with this new big Sprocket. So yeah guys, unfortunately, like I was afraid of, my camera battery died, but no big deal. This is the finished product here, all leveled out, adjusted, straight side to side, cleaned up, ready to roll. I forgot to make a video on this and the handbrake, so if y'all want videos detailing how this number plate and light on or the handbrake setup at all, just let me know. Drop a comment down below, and here's some shots of me riding with this new girl.